That's your story.
All right, let's go.
Real estate contracts. They're boring. But you know how to fill them out. If they have the right terms in them, the right special clauses in them, if they have terms that lean in your direction, protect you, the real estate investor, you know how to maximize profits with them, you can absolutely dominate. My mentor, this is where he started with me, showing me how to fill out contracts and manipulate the terms so that way I can maximize profits. Now I want to give you all my contracts absolutely free. There's going to be a link somewhere on the screen that you can click right now and download these.
Well, you talked about a lot of deals last time in our interview, and you mentioned your first deal of buying a single-family house and dealing with one renter who moved out. You ended up bailing out of it. Apart from that, when you look at your bigger deals, what was the worst deal you ever had?
Worst deal I ever had that I did or that I didn't do?
That you did.
Okay, worst deal that I did. Probably a deal I bought. I bought a deal 3 years ago called Haran Point. It's $32 million. It was an exchange. So meaning I had a bunch of profit made on another deal I'd sold in South Carolina. I had about $23 million of profits to shelter. So I moved part of that into an exchange. It's 1031 is fairly complicated. It's simple, but it becomes complicated when the clock starts going. Okay, you're down to 3 days and you got to identify. Then 2 days, then 1 day, and then you're like, yeah, I got to pull the trigger. So I bought a deal knowing that there wasn't going to be a lot of upside, but that I would protect my tax exchange. And I kept that deal for 34 months. This is a bad deal. Kept it for just under 34 months. We had, I think, in that deal, maybe $4 million profit on that deal. Short of that, maybe just short of $4 million.
Okay, so when you sold it, you made $4 million off it.
Let me see, is that right? It's shy of $4 million that I made on that deal. It cash flowed like 8% a year. So it wasn't typical of what I would expect from a deal. It was like a 25% return over 3 years, about 8% a year. I didn't lose any money. I didn't lose my exchange. I did have a profit, but dude, it wasn't a scorching score, and I didn't love the property.
Okay, so out of all the property you ever bought, you never had to sell it at a loss.
Now, I've never sold an apartment deal at a loss.
Really?
No.
Why is that?
Because they all cash flow.
Okay.
So if I have even through the recession, okay, through the worst recession, as long as I have cash flow, okay, when the market tilts and there's no buyers, they're like, okay, I'm not moving. I know there's a good deal out in the marketplace, but I'm not moving right now because I'm uncertain. And that'll come. That's probably in the next year or two. The activity will drop because uncertainty will drop. So I won't be able to trade my property because there'll be fewer buyers in the marketplace. Fewer buyers means the price goes down. The offers go down. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to lose money. So as long as I'm cash flowing, paying my debt and my expenses, as long as I'm cash flowing, I just wait that thing out. I wait the cycle out. In this case, I had something else I wanted to buy. There were some other reasons I wanted to exchange out. I'll look back probably later and say, dude, I should have waited and not sold that property.
Right, but you have situations where areas just get messed up. Like you look at Detroit.
Yeah, totally.
Who would have known that the car companies were all going to move away? Who would have known about the Flint water crisis? Like, disasters happen. Things are unexpected, and you have communities. You go to like Baltimore, and you have whole blocks that are boarded up.
Yeah.
At one point, that was a thriving community. People bought those houses at market value.
Yeah.
And expected to keep them for years to come, and now they had to walk away from it.
Yeah.
You've never had a situation where you bought an apartment complex and the area just started to go into decline?
No. First deal I ever bought, the first deal I was ever bought, you're describing. But it was one house, dude. It didn't have any income. Like nobody should be buying real estate in Detroit. Nobody should be buying real estate where there's snow. If there's snow on the ground, like go south. those jobs are moving. Like you need people when you invest money in real estate, you need to pay it like any business, like the tech business. Like I don't know that I'd go invest a bunch of money in Ford Motor Company today. I think there's a better chance that Ford Motor Company goes away than stays. So I want to be around major hospitals. Okay, very very hard to take a hospital down. Like thriving hospitals, not just a hospital, but go get housing around major thriving hospitals. Even if you go to Baltimore, Detroit, I'll bet you there's some of that urban tight around hospitals where nurses have to be, doctors have to be. They won't get rid of that completely, right? But on the outskirts of Detroit, man, it just got destroyed because the jobs left.
Yeah.
So when I look at Houston, Texas, I look at Tampa, Orlando, Miami, even the Mobile, Alabamas, the Atlanta, Georgias. All this migration is happening. And the more dumb shit that New York and New Jersey and California does, the more it just pushes all of these people to migrate to where there's less tax burden.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, we have a house in L.A. I mean, we rent, but we're looking at Atlanta.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Taxes is one of the main reasons. Yeah.
Ball players are doing it. I guarantee you when LeBron moved to L.A., I guarantee he made a decision about taxes in his contract to say, hey, you got to offset this move.
Right.
Come and take a trip in my rocket ship. We'll have a lovely afternoon. Kiss the world goodbye, and away we'll fly. A destination moon.
That should look way better than just banging on all niggas' wall there.
Well, you guys get your deal. You put together your first album, and the album ended up going to number 2.
Right.
On the top 200.
Right.
So out of all the albums that were out, you guys were the second biggest album of that time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, you guys at this point are a phenomenon in terms of the reaction to people and the rest of you guys. What was really kind of the experience of going through that? Because here you are, yeah, you had commercials and everything else like that, but now you're kind of really in the spotlight. You're really on a superstar kind of caliber, and you're generally considered the lead singer of the group. Would that be accurate?
Not generally.
Not generally?
Not generally speaking, I am the lead singer. Yeah.
You are the lead singer. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Well, since last time you were here, I interviewed Dan Payne. Are you familiar with Dan?
Yeah, I know Dan.
Okay. He said he coached 25 billionaires over the course of his life, and he talked about some of the common traits. What do you think is consistent in terms of personality type?
Oh, easy. First of all, 98% of the high performers on the planet have one thing in common. They're introverts. Bill Gates is an introvert, Warren Buffett is an introvert, Elon Musk is an introvert. Okay. Only 2% are loudmouth alpha males like me. Okay. But both the introverts and the alpha males focus, obsession, like OCD. I mean, laser beam focus. They would rather, they're black hip-hop guys, they said, unless you want success like you want oxygen in your lungs, and I've been rich and I've been poor, and there's no comparison. I mean, Elon, now he takes it back. He said 15, 18 years ago, I would rather commit seppuku, which is hara-kiri, kill myself than be poor and not successful.
Okay. So it's really the laser beam focus.
Correct.
From your point of view, what is the trait of a billionaire?
Look, I've never coached any billionaires, so I hung out with one for about 90 days. They definitely think about money differently. You know, there's almost this throwaway kind of like, okay, I'm not worried about that anymore. Did Dan name any of the billionaires that he's coached?
He did not. No.
Yeah. It's a lot of billionaires, dude. I think there's only like, I mean, that means he's touched like, you know, a third or something of all the billionaires on the planet.
Yeah.
It's a lot of billionaires. So, common traits, successful, can-do attitude, I'm gonna figure this out, I'm not gonna quit, willing to go bankrupt, not acting like middle-class people. They never act like middle class. Like, they don't care where they live, dude. They're like, I live wherever I gotta live. Dropouts, courage, fucking never quit no matter what, willing to change and adapt. Don't listen to the common everyday person. Go into debt, dump their retirement accounts if they ever had one. Like, burn the midnight oil, work 100-hour weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically listing out the things you mentioned in the 10X book. And I want to get to that. But,
look, I haven't coached billionaires, but I read about enough of them to say, hey, what is the common trait in these guys? You know, Elon Musk talks about working 100 hours. Warren Buffett he reads 4 hours a day. Look, if I go out on the street corner right now and ask people, hey, do you like to read books? Most people will be like, oh, I don't have time to read, I don't like to read, I don't want to read. But here's the old man. Third richest guy in the world says, hey, I read 4 hours a day. Might be something people want to do if they haven't given up on their financial security.
Right. I mean, but my whole financial life is really based on Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
I try to read as much as possible. Well, since our last interview, I did a little bit of research, and I found that you did an interview with Jordan Belfort.
Yeah.
The Wolf of Wall Street. And this turned into the equivalent of like a rap beef with finance guys afterwards. Is that a fair assessment of what happened?
Well, he's not a finance guy.
Well, I mean, a financial guy.
He's not a financial guy. He's a fucking criminal. He's a convicted criminal that didn't pay back the people he ripped off. And he's a fucking rat. On top of being a criminal, he's a rat. Turned on his own people to reduce his time. So he's a criminal, ripped off a bunch of people, admits that he ripped off a bunch of people, never paid the people back, and ratted out his boys. So you can't give him, dude, he operates out of a little apartment with 6 interns that he 1099s, hawking a $495 product. That don't sound like a banker to me.
Yeah, I actually looked up his net worth online.
Yeah, minus 30 million.
Minus 100 million.
Well, minus 100 million. Yeah, you gonna take advice from a guy that's fucking negative 100 million? Would you, sir? Your guy shooting this. Huh?
I mean, you went on a show.
Yeah, I did.
Why?
It was set up with my staff in Miami. It was probably a bad idea, but you know, I'm like, let me just go in there and fucking challenge him to a cage match.
Well, you said in the interview, he was talking about the real world. You said in your real world, everyone is using drugs.
In my real world.
In his real world, everyone's using drugs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you saw that in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole movie is pretty much him being high the whole time.
Dude, look, if there wasn't a movie about that, about his life story, we wouldn't know who the dude is. Like, what else is there? Is that your claim to fame? You know?
Yeah.
I don't want that to be my legacy. Okay, I got 185 employees. I'm trying to go to 1,000. He keeps asking me a question about how to sell a pen, and I'm like, dude, I'm over that story. Like, you're 50 years old, you got to elevate the game at some point. Ask a new question. How do you buy a pen company? How do you replace a pen? How do you make sure a pen's never sold again on this planet? Elevate the game, son. Otherwise, you're going to die an old salesman with a negative net worth of a minus 100 million.
Told you, nigga, go up. Too little. What you got from me, Grant?
Hey, have you ever seen Dragon Ball Z? Or remember that video game Street Fighter?
All right, here we go. Grant Cardone, welcome back to Vlad TV.
Man, I'm glad to be in your place this time.
Yeah, you get to check out our New York office.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you actually reached out to us this time. I'm kind of flattered.
Yeah, man, because look, I love that interview we did last time, and your audience is different than mine, and a lot of the people that follow you are like, they're either really turned on about it or turned off about it. But I think a lot of people started thinking about, okay, you know, how do you play the IRS? How do you play the money game? And nobody knows. Nobody teaches us this. So I said, let me go back and see the big B man. And we educate or piss off his audience some more.
Well, I think the thing that I appreciated most in our interview last time is that so many people try to sell people a dream and say, like, you don't need a good job to start investing in real estate. You can start with zero money down and become rich after a few years. And you said, look, if you want to make real money, you got to do 32 units commercial, multi-unit, and you're gonna need a whole bunch of cash up front in order to do it. If you can't do that, then don't even bother.
Yeah, it's just that, look, you're going to end up having another job that doesn't pay you anything. Like, if you hate the minimum wage job you have now, you're going to hate the next one more. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are trying to get ahead by having 2 or 3 jobs that don't pay anything. Just because you supposedly own something, which means you got a mortgage on it that you don't own, and even if you did pay it off, you still got to make the property taxes. Just because it makes a little bit of money doesn't mean it makes sense.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I have a close friend who's a real estate developer in D.C., and I ran some of the numbers by him, and I said, well, Grant said, because I'm not a real estate guy, I said, well, Grant said you should start with at least 32 units if you want to get into a real estate business. And he said, well, actually, I feel it's 100.
Oh,
but, 32 was cool, too.
I can totally have that argument. Once you do 100, you'll never go back to 32. It's like, what's that saying? So like, once you do scale, it'd be like Amazon saying, or Blackstone saying, they're going to buy my business. They're like, dude, we would never do that again. That we're going to buy 50 billion at a time. We're not going to bother with a little company. And this was the point of that. Like, Now, a lot of people just check out, as you know, Glad, on this. They just get pissed off and say, well, I can't do that because I don't have the money. Okay, I didn't have the money either. I started with one deal. Bought a deal, put $3 grand down. I bought a deal with a budget. It was like I was going to Whole Foods to buy groceries. How much can we afford? I got $200 on me, so I'm going to buy $200 worth of shit. You can't do that with an investment, and I did that. And then that $3 grand was making me $200 a month. I thought I was going to be great. I thought everything was going to be beautiful. There's no reason for me to tell this story except to share with people one deal does not work. Because the moment they moved out, I was negative. I got scared. I dumped the property. I shouldn't have dumped it, but I had to because I didn't have the cash flow and didn't have the courage and didn't have the knowledge that the market would turn around and that I would get it rented. I got terrified. That deal today is probably worth $450 grand, and I put $3,000 down. It's going up 5 times. But if you can't keep it, that's the problem with the stock market for me. You know, I couldn't keep Apple stock through the ups and downs. I never get to 258.
Right, so you haven't bought any stock since our last interview, huh?
Not a one.
Oh, well, I failed.
I mean, I can't do it. I can't do it because, like, I drive around here. This, you know, it's just too easy. It's too easy to buy $250 worth of stock and still not know what you got.
I got you. I got you. This last time you were here, I interviewed Dan Pena. Are you familiar with Dan?
Yeah, I know Dan.
Okay. He said he coached 25
such an honor to be on this with you. You were the first female,
and he talked about some of the common traits. What do you think is consistent in terms of personality type?
Oh, easy. First of all, 98% of the high performers on the planet have one thing in common: they're introverts. Bill Gates is an introvert, Warren Buffett's an introvert, Elon Musk is an introvert. Okay. Only 2% are loudmouth alpha males like me. Okay. But both the introverts and the alpha males focus, obsession, like OCD. I mean, laser beam focus. They would rather there's a black hip hop guy. One success for oxygen. And I've been rich and I've been poor, and there's no comparison. I mean, Elon, now he takes it back. He said 15, 18 years ago, I would rather commit seppuku, which is hara-kiri, kill myself than be poor and not successful.
I dealt with this for about 15 years now. I didn't feel confident. And Bosley gave me that back. It was like reverse aging. Every day you're excited to look. You know that tomorrow you're going to have more hair than you did, yesterday.
I think people need to learn how to talk to people. Right. Keep talking to them, no matter what their interest is. Sales training, time management, personal efficiency, closing, negotiating, personal finance, and money mastery. These are all things that I have done successfully in my life that I'm like, hey, this worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you, but I know it's going to work. I know it worked for me.
got a great guest today, the one you've all been waiting for. Everyone keeps thinking that this, yeah, people keep thinking we have this like ongoing feud, like it's the rumble in the freaking beach jungle here. But dude, I'm really actually excited to have you here. Thank you for coming, and I really appreciate you coming. Yeah, because I think that, listen, all I want you to know is that my whole avenue is I want to try to extract as much as I can from you about how you go out and trade salespeople, about your life, because I want to give this massive to the audience, right?
Well, everybody wants to know who's the better salesman, right? That's what they keep saying.
I don't know, you know.
It depends who you talk to. You ask Mark, he's going to say he is.
You know, listen, I honestly think that I love to sell.
Yeah.
But one thing I realized pretty quickly is I'm even better at training salespeople than I am at. I mean, I'm a great salesperson, but I really excel when I something about. I love doing it. Like
I don't like sales at all.
I love training people. So, anyways, let's start in the beginning. So, when did you start selling?
When I had to.
So, what was
I started selling.
What was your first job? Like
It was a clothing store. I was paid 6% on a $12 tie. I was 16 years old.
Okay.
So I'd make whatever that is, 6% of $12. I mean,
okay, $7.20.
No, 70 cents.
Yeah, 70 cents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how'd you do it? Were you good at it though?
No, I was terrible.
You weren't good at it.
I was terrible.
And
it was awful. The only time I was good at sales was when there was urgency on my part. Like I had to sell it. Like I sold furniture, I was terrible. I got fired. I sold clothes. I was fired from that job. And there was one other job. I think it was a refinery job. I lost that. I lost 6 jobs. But the only time that I ever sold anything successfully was a bunch of fish that we had caught, redfish, red snappers. They caught hundreds and hundreds of them. And
you caught yourself?
I was on a supply boat out in New Orleans, Louisiana, off the coast. I was doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and I was helping the cook. That was my job, right? It was a labor. It was a total labor boat. 3 of us on the boat. We'd bring supplies out to the oil rigs. I've never told this story. And one day we dropped lines over the boat in about 120 foot of water, and we would drop lines, and it would have 120 foot line, not a fishing pole, a line,
right?
A rope, dude, with like 80 hooks on it. You just wait. You sit and wait.
Right.
Do nothing. Then you go over there and you pull up 60 fish. Every line had 60 fish.
Real?
So like,
where was this though?
This is south of New Orleans.
Okay.
So we catch, I don't know, 300-400 fish. We couldn't even keep them all.
Right.
Snapper about this big. So I tell the guys, I'm like, hey guys, can I have your fish? I mean, we can't eat it all. So we put it on ice. And on the way home, when we came in, like 8 days later, I stopped door to door. This is how I started my career. Door to door, I was selling fish.
To homes?
To
the restaurants?
Businesses.
God, okay.
To State Farm agents. Hey guys, I got some fish. It's fresh as shit right here.
You know, I did the same job, by the way, but with boxes of frozen steak and meat.
Well, I didn't have enough ice. I didn't plan, or I didn't know what I was doing, so the fish was going bad.
Got it.
And I'm like, I have to sell this shit.
Right.
Otherwise, it's going to go
So
bad.
what was your rap? What was your pitch back then?
Hey guys, I got fish. I got fish. That was my fucking.
I'll give you really good prices. They're about to. I don't tell them now they're gonna go bad.
I got fish. I just caught them. You want them? And that's how I still sell today, by the way.
Okay.
Like there's no, you know, it's very direct, to the point. Find out if you're interested, and then I move on.
So if someone's not interested, in other words, one of the things I know about, listen, I did a little bit of checking, right? Not that much, right? And by the way, you know the reason I don't do checking is because I don't want to. There's so many, there's people steal so much shit out there, right? I mean, there's all these false gurus and people, the experts of the hour, right?
Yeah.
So I don't make it a habit of trying to go through other people's stuff. I feel like I all adopt it as my own. Either rightly, sometimes I realize that you took it from someone else. So
my shit's so good, dude. If you watch it, you will use it again. You can't not use it.
Really? Okay, good. Well, what's the stuff about being unreasonable? Like when you say, if you want to just be unreasonable, like not stop. But what if they don't want it? What's the fine line?
Oh, you saw the unreasonable. You're like the follow-up.
No. I mean, like, okay, so you have 2 types of people. You have buyers and non-buyers, right? Like, what do you?
No, I don't believe that. I think they're all buyers.
You think everyone's a buyer?
Every person, every human being you meet is going to buy something.
Whether
they might not buy my fish, but then they're going to buy insurance, or they're going to buy groceries, or they're all buyers.
But what you're selling fish, though?
In that case, I was selling fish, but that does not make them a non-buyer.
Of fish, though.
That day, that moment.
Right,
that
they don't. My point is, technically,
every buyer's a buyer.
Okay, so
all I'm looking for is money anyway. Every seller's looking for something. They're looking for money. They don't want to keep what they have. They're looking for money.
So you don't think? Okay, so
I think every buyer's a buyer.
Slow it down for 1 second, all right? Slow it down for a second. You speak almost as fast as me.
You're on the Red Bull. I'm not.
Question, okay? So if you're a salesman, a young salesman out in the field, let's say you're selling insurance, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you knock on someone's door saying, I'm not interested in insurance.
I understand.
Would you keep pushing and pushing and pushing?
No, I totally understand. But I don't believe that they're not interested is an interest level.
Okay.
Not interested is better than before you hit that door and they said they weren't interested. Not interest. No interest is a level of interest.
Okay.
Like if I have no coffee in my house, I'm talking about coffee.
Okay.
Zero, none is a quantity.
Time for the wolf to do his thing. I'm going to sell you something that you want, need, and you gotta have these. Ready? This little thing here, you see how cool? This is like this belongs in the space shuttle. Right? It's really futuristic. Look at this is what they use on Star Trek, right? These are actually state-of-the-art earbuds, right? These things are so cool from a company called Raycon. Check it out, all right? I'm telling you, these things are so comfortable. I have a problem. Listen, you know, I'm a big lover of Apple, right? But I have problems with the earbuds. Hurt my ears. These are the most comfortable earbuds, and they sound amazing. I've actually done the side-by-side sound test. There's no difference. They sound amazing. They really do. They fit beautifully. Check this out. This, see? Now look, this blue, man, they're really futuristic looking. They sound awesome. You got two, and by the way, here's the other thing. Hello, I can't hear you now. I'm saying, no, these things are awesome. Let me tell you, setting it up, linking it with your phone, right? Having it link up, right? You know what you do? You open the thing up, and it's linked. I've never seen anything like that. Talk about the definition of user-friendly. When they have that in the dictionary, this is the picture you see. User-friendly. You literally open up. I was like, oh, how do these things work? They just open up the thing and it worked. I swear to God, it actually worked. They sync perfectly with your telephone. They sound so great, all right? And they're the most comfortable. You feel like you float with these things, all right? I do my workouts with them. I walk around, all the your numbers are on top of you. They're crushing you, all right? When you actually sign up, you get a free guide here.
The young salesperson should be taught, hey, look, real estate.
ITE.com/wolf. All right? Check this one out. Right, so for the salesperson themselves, though, how do you manage that situation? Do you keep trying to push you on to the next door?
Well, you definitely want to go, you definitely need a funnel. You definitely need, the ultimate solution to all sales is to have a lot of people to talk to.
Okay.
It's not some trick.
Right, so if you're cold calling out in the you're going door to door. A lot of people do that, right? So if it's door to door out on the phone, right? You knock on someone's door, right? Do you believe that you should try to knock on as many doors as possible, try to really go deeper into people who aren't interested? Or what's the sweet spot?
No, they should.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's not true. What's the sweet spot? How do you know when it's better to not waste your time?
Sweet spot.
Okay.
Right? Like, because even if they hit the sweet spot, it's about volume. There's no success without volume.
Okay.
So anybody that's trying to come up with the thing is trying to get away from the work.
Right.
And so there's no trick in this game. Like, if a person wants to be really successful in sales, real estate, acting, you need a lot of hits. Right. So like, I think everybody's looking for that one thing that gets that in the door and gets that one sale, as opposed to as opposed to, dude, how do I keep calling on the whole neighborhood?
Right.
How do I keep working that neighborhood and then the next neighborhood, and then how do I come back? Because one thing that cold call people do that incorrectly is they canvas cold a neighborhood and they never go back to that neighborhood. But watch, I do. I go back in. So I'm basically following you up.
Okay.
It's somebody once said, hey, somebody else blows up the tire. They blow up the tires and I ride the bike. They get them ready.
Okay.
So that neighbor, that person, that phone call, that door is going to be knocked on again by someone.
Okay.
The fact that most people are just not going to go back and hit on it. But the
about time management issue. What's the time management in terms of new doors versus old doors?
I don't know. The gold is in the follow-up.
Okay, so in other words, you don't have a distinction, because it's a good question. Don't you think? When do you know?
Not really. I think it's a bad question.
You think it's a bad question?
I think it's not the right question. I think
when to not to follow.
I think the young salesperson should be taught, hey, look, there's no trick, dude. There's no freaking sweet spot of this game. The sweet spot, if there is a sweet spot, it is about creating tremendous volumes of activity, having lots of people to talk to.
So hitting lots and lots of doors.
Or taking lots of phone calls.
Well, hitting doors, or whether it's call the phone or doors,
the
right?
Sweet
numbers game, you think?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
But if they know me, rather than me knowing them, if they already know me, then my leverage goes up probably 10x.
Okay. Can you explain that?
Hey, I know you. I saw you in the paper. I saw you, and you get that because people, know about the movie, right? So you immediately have some altitude or lift,
right?
Because people know you. It's not who I know; it's who knows me,
right? So for the young salesperson just getting started,
or old, there's some old salespeople out there. You got any old people watching your show?
I got a few. I tell you what, though, I actually skew kind of on the young side, but I have all ages, of course, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is like for someone starting out, right? Because so many people get into sales, and the thing I see them do, and a lot of people, they waste their time talking to they try to go deep into a non-buyer. You disagree?
I think people need to learn how to talk to people.
Right.
Keep talking to them, no matter what their interest is.
So if you give someone let's say you give someone a stack of like 200 leads to dial through, right? And you get a salesman who wants to speak to everybody. Like, he's going to speak to someone who, let's say, have no money, they have no job, and they want to sell a $10,000 product, and they waste 45 minutes in that call. Would that be smart or not smart?
He shouldn't have started that call with one product. Why?
Because he works at a company that has one product.
That's stupid. Go some other place.
So
you can't sell one
then.
product.
Okay.
Who does that? Amazon doesn't do it. Grocery stores don't do it. Starbucks doesn't do it. Nobody, no matter how good that one product is, nobody can build a business or any kind of success on one product.
Or let's say a couple of products, 2 or 3 products, right? The average company out there.
Yeah. You need more than one product.
You need more than one product, okay?
Like if I try to hit everybody with a $10,000 product, or even a $1.
Even a $100
If I hit somebody with a $1 product, I miss the guy that wants to spend $10,000.
So the idea,
doesn't see value.
Okay, so the idea is go work for a company that has a whole suite of products. Gives you much, you can sell something to everybody, right? Basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Cool.
Like we probably have, I don't know, we probably have 100 different products on our website.
What's like you said of all the for you in your business, right? Cardone University, right?
And that's one division. There's 16 companies. Cardone University will have 50 million users on that platform.
Okay.
So there's 2 versions of that. There's an individual and there's a corporate. The corporate's about 40 to 80 grand a year. We probably have 1,400 companies on that product.
Sales training or other training too?
Mostly sales training. Mostly sales training, time management, personal efficiency type stuff, closing, negotiating, personal finance, and money mastery. These are all things that I have done successfully in my life.
I'm trying to get
this worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you, but I know it's going to work. I know it worked for me. And now that we've had 30 years of it, we're like, hey, it's worked for some other people too. So if it doesn't work for you,
so it's interesting.
So that's the corporate. Sure. That's the corporate thing, and then the other thing. That's why I'm bad as an interviewer. I never listen. So fucking gotta listen. So I have.
You don't like it, do you? Right?
No, it's fine. No, I hate doing that. I hate it. So there's the corporate thing, and then there's the individual that could get into that program for.
The fuck out of here. He died for the ball.
Very similar product, if not sometimes the same. Right? So in one place for $100, sure. In another place for $80.
Same as that product, or
very, very similar,
right? Same learning.
How do you pull that off? That's the trick. That's the thing that people should be asking.
Right.
How do I create multiple products, multiple price points, without killing myself with inventory? Because we're not Amazon, right? And I'm not Whole Foods. I can't. I'm not Starbucks. I don't have the money to finance the individual listening to them. Okay. So I have an apartment complex. I would never go and say I only have 2 bedrooms. I got studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. Otherwise, I don't have a shot. Whether they're coming to me, or whether I'm going to them, or whether it's on the phone or outbound. To me, it's on.
He's having a wide process, right?
Well, it could be 3 on a landing page.
Okay.
Like people are on Instagram talking about blah blah blah. I got blah blah blah, and then they go to a website. They shouldn't be going to a website. They should be going to a landing page, and there should be one choice there, with 2 possible options at most.
Would you say you're a better salesman or marketer?
I'd say I'm a better businessman.
Better business. We should look to sales to marketing. What do you think?
I'm a better businessman.
Better businessman.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about no. A lot of entrepreneurs is out there.
Explain that.
Okay, so an entrepreneur, by definition, is not what most people are doing right now. Like they're just calling themselves entrepreneurs. They hadn't even looked up the definition.
There used to be a time when the watch you wore on your wrist would help you get to someplace at the right time because we didn't have phones that we carry around that were like perfectly accurate, right? That's the old world. New world, well, you don't really need a watch, so to speak, because you have your phone, right? But we all still wear watches. Why? Well, the status symbols, they look good, they feel good. Also, it's pretty convenient to kind of, twist your little wrist around and the person's taking your phone in your pocket, right? Here's the thing. Go back even further, 100 years ago. You had these big Swiss companies that charge a massive amount of money for a watch. Why? Because they told better time. Like the average crappy watch, which wouldn't even keep time that well, so you could be 5 minutes late, didn't work, right? But guess what? Everything changed in the 50s or 60s, and they invented these sort of quartz movement that were like just perfect, like literally as accurate as the most accurate watch in the world, and it wouldn't cost anything. So the whole watch game changed, right? And then it came about who's got the best style, who's got the best branding, what makes you feel good, right? And I got to tell you this. So here's the thing: a $20,000 watch and this Vincero watch, by the way, check this out. I mean, it's beautiful. They tell time just as good. So they beautifully accurate, and this looks good. I mean, listen, I wear this because I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. It works like a charm. That's not the thing. Of course it works. Watches nowadays, you can take a $5 watch or a $100,000 watch. They tell time the same way. What looks good? What feels good? All right? This watch, I've been telling you, Vincero, this is an awesome watch. When you put this...
And I was making fun of him, but the truth is, he was manning up in the game, and I wasn't. It was a guy named, it was a number of them. I mean, there was a bunch of companies. There was a bunch of guys around.
Looking down, people will comment on it. I'm seriously. Right. He's advertising like a madman and pouring money at it.
Exactly. He was and I was making fun of him, but the truth is, he was manning up in the game, and I wasn't. It was a guy named, it was a number of them. I mean, there was a bunch of companies. There was a bunch of guys around me in advertising, marketing, another sales training companies. They were pouring money on the deal, and I wasn't. I was saving money.
Right.
In 2010, and I said, oh, shit, but I got more money than you do. I knew I was first to import into real estate. Second half of that, most people are not entrepreneurs because they never...
Makes the man, you know what? The watch also kind of makes the man. And it comes, with these, I have sort of more of a dressy one on, right? They have sport models, all right? They have stainless steel. And these are ultra cool watches. Now, here's the thing, right? This is obviously, me, I'm a wealthy person, right? Thank God for that, all right? And I wear really expensive watches, right? I would not put a piece of crap on my wrist, all right? I love this watch. I really do. It's a great watch. It's a great looking watch. You would think, if you saw me walking around with this watch, I guarantee you'd say, oh, was it a Patek Philippe or something? You'd think the watch is $20,000, $30,000. You just would, because I'm wearing it, right? Guess what? You can get this watch, especially because you're watching this, you get a discount because you're watching the show. This watch, $200 at most. They have all different types of watches. This is the more expensive one. It's a few $100. This watch should be, honestly, $10,000. It looks, feels, operates, has everything of a $10,000. These little extra dials, I love them. I mean, I have to say, in all seriousness, I love this watch. I really do. I know that you will too. All right, so here's how you get this watch. Ready? Vincero, V-I-N-C-E-R. Vincero. V-I-N-C-E-R early. Vincero.com. Vincero.com. All right, and then you use the... You will...
I made this mistake.
When you put this watch on your arm, on your wrist...
Shut up about the watch.
You're going to feel great. And that's what a men's watch is all about.
I don't care about your watch.
They all feel great time, right? It's about how do they look, how do they feel, what does it say about you? And when I put this watch on, I feel good when I walk around. Just imagine how good you feel, how good you're going to look. After you put this watch on, you're walking down, people will comment on it. I'm seriously, I'm serious about this. People will make comments, say, beautiful watch. It's got that sort of just, it's a hard, and also there's weight to it. It's not one of those tinny light watches. It's a real watch, all right? I don't know how they honestly, I don't know how they make money on these watches. They're beautiful. They should be 10 times as much money, but hey, take advantage, all right? Vincero.com. Check it out. Enter Wolf, and you can't go wrong.
$10.
So, I'm just going to look it up just so I'm
entrepreneur.
Okay. You ever looked it up?
I kind of know intuitively.
What do you think?
Someone who starts businesses and,
Person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on, listen, but this is the important part. This is good for your young viewer. Taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. By definition, the second half of that, most people are not entrepreneurs because they never take on any risk. Like they're holding on to their money. They got cash in the banks. They got equity in their houses. They're saving money, saving for retirement. If you're doing any of that shit,
versus putting the balls against the fucking wall,
you're
right?
a bitch. You're like, what are you doing, dude? You're more committed. People are more committed to the equity in their home than they are to the equity of their brand or business. So I made this mistake for years.
In your own life?
Yeah.
When did you said like, so you weren't successful early on. What was the shift? What was it like that moment where all of a sudden?
When I was 51.
51.
Yeah.
How old are you now? You're
10
older than me.
61.
You're older than me. I like that.
Yeah.
Tell me what was the shift. What was it?
2010.
Tell me.
2010, I was just like, I had a little bit of success. I had 3 companies that were doing well.
Right.
And
what were those companies? Was it sales?
There was a sales training, a speaking business.
Okay.
That I had been doing for 20 years. And it had really become just about me collecting a fee. We would market it. We owned the production of the event. The only difference was I wasn't getting a speaking fee. I was getting a piece of the gate.
Okay.
So I didn't actually do any speaking for
Speaking about sales?
Sales. It was all sales, and it was
industry specific? Or?
Yeah, it was automotive.
Okay.
I was very, very dependent upon the automobile industry. So I realized, number one, I'll never be dependent upon one industry again, ever. Number 2, the other business was a consulting business that was similar in
auto.
That I didn't run. I was a partnership, and I collected a royalty with it, and that was great for years. It was great until it wasn't, right?
Right.
And then the third business was I would take all the money from the first 2 and pour it into real estate because I knew the real estate would live longer than I could, and it would work better than I could. So the problem with all 3 of those, though, is I never did it big. Like I never did it big. So I had guys that had. Like that, he beat me.
Right. Because he's advertising like a madman and pouring money at it.
Exactly. He was like, and I was making fun of him. But the truth is, he was manning up in the game, and I wasn't. It was a guy named, there's a number of them. I mean, there's a bunch of companies. There was a bunch of guys around me in advertising, marketing, another sales training company. They were pouring money on the deal, and I wasn't. I was saving money.
Right.
In 2010, and I said, oh shit, but I got more money than they do. I knew I was wealthier by net worth than they were. But so what, right? Because when 2010 came, it took us all out. Like, everybody got washed out.
Yeah.
So my first business got cut in half. The second business got cut by 80%. And the real estate, I couldn't sell it. Couldn't. I mean, I was still renting it. It actually got me through 2010. Because the rent kept coming in. Because the other 2 stopped.
How did the real estate stuff do in 2000? It was only 2009, really, right? That's when it started.
2008.
9, it was 2009.
9, it was cataclysmic year. 2000.
I remember my
people getting fucking. Now they're starting to clean up the mess. The bank that I owed the bank $52 million. They went under. And I'm like, okay, glad that wasn't me. But the problem is when the bank goes up,
right?
When the boat that you're on goes down,
right?
And the new bank comes in. The new bank says, we got some new rules.
Fuck you, pay me.
It was called the technical default. And anybody, if the loan changed names, ownership, they could call the loan.
Yeah, they were doing crazy shit back then.
Yeah.
Cutting credit lines, unbelievable. I know.
Yeah.
So that was, so when did that hit the bottom? 2010 was the worst part?
I mean, there was no bottom right there. It was like, oh, God, how long am I going to get dragged out, right? We didn't lose anything. I didn't go bankrupt. I didn't lose anything. All my buddies that were buying real estate and really doing a lot of no money down stuff, they lost everything. But I was terrified. Okay, I was so scared. I thought I'd left my family down, and we couldn't expand. I was too scared to expand, even though I had some cash. I had a great opportunity to invest in a great company. I would have. I love the guy, and he wanted $1 million, a measly $1 million. I had it, but I couldn't give it to him, dude, because I was so scared. And so I realized then I will never be in this position again. That was 10 years ago. And what I did then was started, okay, I got to get other industries to know me. I got to get known. I got to start using these social mediums that I thought was a waste of time. You know, I'm like, this is all bullshit. And so I just leaned into it, dude, and we built a Facebook following.
Jump to my shit.
Yeah, and so that changed everything. We didn't have any e-commerce going. We'll do 40
Sit me
million
down, man.
e-commerce this year.
Sit me down the whole bottom third.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing, like, taking it to, like, now, what's the first thing you did? You said, fuck it, I'm going balls to the walls. You started. Do you hire consultants, or you
I
just figured out yourself trying to
I didn't hire any consultants.
Just said, I'm going to do what makes sense to me, basically, right?
I just started like, okay, I'm not sleeping. I'm not, no more play. I told my wife, I said, don't spend any money. Everything went into suffer. We went into suffer mode. Like, okay, we're going to suffer now. We're going to suffer until we're out of this deal, and I will never do this to my family again.
Right.
And so in 10 years, we went from, 60 customers to almost 2,000 corporate to, probably 20,000 individuals on a regular basis recurring. We went from, I think I had 300 units then, we have 6,000 now. It's 20x, not 10x. So.
What is your core business now? Real estate? Is it mostly doing? What do you think it is really?
Sometimes I wonder.
Because I've heard, companies say you're really heavily into real estate, and
we got
and you actually sell. You take in outside money too, right?
Cardone Capital.
Explain that to me.
Cardone Capital. We created Cardone Capital because I set up a thing for my twin brother, my sister.
Identical or fraternal?
Identical.
No.
Yeah, identical.
Let me see if
I might be him right now. How do you know I'm not him?
How do I know it's not you?
I don't even know. Shit. Maybe I'm him. I don't even know it.
Did you guys look exactly? Well, when you were younger, you probably looked exactly.
Yeah. He went the corporate route. He's very corporate. I'm very not corporate. So Cardone Capital, we created because so many people say, hey, I want to invest in real estate the way you do. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Can't find the deals. A bunch of my wealthy friends that, they're running businesses. They're like, I don't have time to go find real estate, People that live in California, they're like, there's no way you can buy this shit around here. Because you never own this thing. Like, the tenant owns this.
Right.
You buy this place right here and try to rent it out, he don't have to pay you and you can't get him out in this state. Here in New York, you can't get people out. So you don't really own the property. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we created Cardone Capital. We've raised $223 million.
Do you raise from accredited investors or unaccredited or both?
In 20 months.
In 20 months.
Without paying a fee.
What type?
You know what that takes.
That's great. So what?
$220 million.
Who's your typical investor?
Non-accredited and accredited.
Okay.
5,000 minimum for non-accredited and 100,000 minimum for accredited.
Great. And explain how it works?
They get a 6% return on their money. That's the
no motion. That's why we get turnovers in that double with no motion.
And then they get it's a 65-35 split. 10-year hold with discretion. Could be longer than 10 years. In fact, it might be we never sell. The goal really is to refinance the portfolio.
So is there cash flow that they get
every month? They get paid every month.
No matter what. Well, as long as
the property cash flows. I want cash flow. Look, this cash flow is king. Right? Cash is trash. Cash by itself is shit. So the idea is
one of the truest statements ever uttered.
it's garbage. It's garbage.
Cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king. So
I learned it the hard way when I was 21 years old.
Right. Yeah. So we just buy properties that cash flow from day one. We don't build anything. We don't do condos. We don't do strip malls. I only buy what flows cash back to the investors and myself the next month.
Got it. And how long have you been doing the outside money for? 20 months? 20 months?
Yeah.
That's great. You raised a lot of money.
Yeah, we raised a lot. I'm going to raise $1 billion in cash in the next.
Cool. Can you go back
in the next 18 months? $1 billion. Hey, $1 billion in cash.
$1 billion?
$1 billion. I'm going to end up building.
What makes Grant Cardone? Go back to
Cardone Capital is going to be a $10 billion company. I'm going to sell this.
I get to keep the hat.
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell this to Blackstone or Goldman Sachs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was your upbringing? Like, were you rich, poor, middle class?
No, we were middle class.
I know you were a twin.
Yeah, we were middle class.
Yeah.
And my dad died when I was 10.
Right.
So that left a big void,
Are you the youngest, middle, or in your family?
I was the youngest.
The youngest. Yeah.
I was number 4 or 5.
Okay.
So the last two, and they weren't planning us. So my dad was 42 years old.
And he died?
No, he was 42 when he had us. Okay. When he knew we were coming. He had 3 other kids.
Okay.
So he was like, oh my God, I wasn't planning on this deal. And then he's got double trouble. Right. He's a middle class dude. He was doing the Wall Street thing. back in the
stockbroker.
Yeah, stockbroker, selling stocks and looking at real estate on the weekend, which I found to be quite interesting. I'm thinking to myself, why aren't you looking at stocks on the weekend? Why are you looking at real estate? Because even the stockbrokers know the stocks are bullshit.
Right. How about your mom?
She was a homemaker, little Italian lady, 4'11". They're both dead now.
Okay. And then where'd you be? Was it Michigan?
Lake Charles.
Lake Charles.
Close.
Small town.
Close. Water. The only thing Lake Charles and Michigan have in common is the water bad.
So what? So you had a couple of unsuccessful sales.
Yeah, six.
And then you went out there. You sold. What was so it was fish was the first thing you sold well.
Yeah, but I had drug problems.
When did you really sell the car? What was it like?
I sold automobiles when I was 25.
When did you really like snap in? It's obviously a way that you sell, right? Is there a strategy or no? It's just hard. It's mostly hard work. You think, or there's a strategy? A lot of stuff you teach is strategy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But
So
there's no strategy that works without somebody to talk to.
Right, so what's the
ultimate?
What's
the ultimate? Like I've been teaching strategy for 20 years, but again, like if people would just spend time on the funnel, on the traffic, on the opportunity, on
the marketing, on the marketing side of the equation.
It is the holy grail. Like look around, man. Look, you don't go to Amazon and have anybody sell anything to you. It's the funnel. It's the traffic. So I made that mistake of thinking I'm going to be great at what I say to them. I'm going to close the deal.
Right.
I got to keep my funnel closed, full. I got to keep the funnel full so I have something to close.
Okay. So how about let's assume that you have that side figured out. You're a master of the funnel, right?
Yeah. Then you don't need. Then you won't even ask this question.
You don't need to sell.
You won't.
But you have a sales force, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and there are things they need to say, but at the end of the day, if he's talking to 10 people a day, and another guy's talking to 200 people a day, the guy that talks to 200 is going to win the game. And if there's one skill you want to learn is how to move through 200 without it causing you. It's like the ball players. You see these guys playing ball. They don't get upset because they lose the game. Like it doesn't bother them. They're in it for the long run. And this is what the sales guy or sales manager doesn't know. You got to get people ready for the long game.
Okay. So, like, what is a sales guy, a young guy who's struggling? What would be the first thing you'd say to a guy, a struggling salesperson?
Help somebody else, maybe. Maybe if you're struggling so bad, don't work on your own deals right now. Go help somebody. Like anytime I had a slump,
automobile sales.
I had a slump.
Okay.
I had a slump. First thing I do with a slump. The thing that has never let me down is helping somebody else.
In what sense? Meaning?
Help another salesperson. Hey, Jordan, I'll help you on your deals. What do you want for that? Nothing.
Okay.
Just give me the list of people you talked to yesterday. Because I'm fucking up my own deals.
Okay.
Just give me your list. I'll call them. What do you want for it? Nothing, dude. All I'm trying to do is get out of my slump, bro. And I'll try shit with your customers that I won't try on mine. Because I'm desperate with mine. So I just go into charity mode.
Got it.
And that helped me when I was 25. I went to a treatment center for drug addiction. And that was the first time I was able to
So you're that income in the shop, you know. What was your drug of choice, by the way?
Any drug.
Not as many as me. Yeah. Maybe it was. I don't know. Well,
any drug.
Yeah, me too. So,
terrible. The thing about drugs, you guys out there that are experimenting with them, they're just awful.
Yeah.
Because the way you feel,
almost destroyed my life. I mean,
the way you feel about yourself is terrible while you're doing it.
So it's interesting because when you do drugs, when you're doing it, you think you can't exist without it. It's bizarre almost. Like I look back, I'm sober for many, many years, right? I'm sober for over 20 years, right? Yeah. But when I was doing it, I convinced myself that everyone else was on drugs. Like, how could you live without it? It's like this bizarre.
I knew everybody else wasn't on it.
I thought I deluded myself into like, they all gotta be. How could you be this wealthy and this? You have to be on drugs to move through the world, right? That was my belief. Yeah. So how long you sober for?
I hadn't used drugs since I was 25.
Okay.
So, what is that? 36 years.
Okay.
A little while.
So first thing, with charity, right? So you're going to say, if you're struggling, say, let me help you with your deals. I don't want any commission. I just want to start talking and get myself talking.
Back in the
saying the right thing.
I just need to, I need to make a shot.
Okay. And then what?
And I need to loosen up, because when you're losing deals, you get tight, right? So then once I break out of it, I'm back on again.
Got it. Okay. How about in terms of like the phone versus use the phone versus
phone's definitely seen it.
Phone's the better one.
Phone's seen it because I can talk to more people. Like I used to market my own seminars, right? I would market the seminar for 3 days, and then I would show up in the city. Another group was just marketing the city, I would do a city in 14 days. We were doing seminars in 14 days. They were spending anywhere from 8 weeks to 10 weeks to market the same seminar, which raised their costs. I'm in and out in 14 days because I made 3 days of phone calls that were brutal. Hey, I'm coming to San Antonio, man. Will you give me 5 minutes? This is before anybody knew who I was, right? No books, no kind of notoriety. So they're like, no, don't come by. But see, that was interest. To me, that's interest. No, I'm not interested. Not interested.
So not interested to use interest.
Well, it is. It says not interested. Not is an adjective to describe interest.
Okay.
Right? So it's a level of interest.
So if someone says they're not interested,
on a scale from 0 to 10, what interest level do you have? None. That is a level.
Right.
Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You with me? A few minutes ago, he didn't know he didn't know he had no interest. At least I'm on it. You see what I'm saying? You get it?
Well, I wouldn't do that. I disagree with that. But I'm not saying that. Reasonable minds can differ. I'm more about hitting massive numbers. I would move on to the next guy.
Well,
the problem I see is with salespeople, a lot of people have a fear of cold calling. So they'll use as an excuse to not cold call to talk to someone for too long. They know he's not going to buy. They get into casual conversations. They go to fucking Pluto. And they don't pick up next call. So that's what bothers me about doing that.
Yeah, well, then they're not trained. Because they shouldn't be having casual conversations. We shouldn't be talking about the weather and sports and politics.
But in the absence of 24/7 supervision, that's what salespeople do.
Well, there should be 24 hours. There should be 24/7 supervision. The phone calls should be recorded. The manager should know exactly what they opened with.
But in the real world, though, that's not possible.
In my real world, it's possible.
I know, but
in your real world, maybe it's not. But in your real world, everybody's using drugs. So in my real world, fucking nobody's using drugs. And you're going to set the intention. Hey, I'm calling because I want to get you on this program. That's the reason I'm calling you.
Okay, so I understand.
Hang on a second.
No one's having ineffective conversations in your room ever.
No.
Or any company you train.
No, I didn't say that. Okay. I said in my real world, where we work, where in Miami, when those guys are on the phone, every one of those calls are recorded.
Right. And everyone's listened to by QC people, every single one.
Management, and they're intervened if they're incorrect. They train every morning. They train every night. Okay, they're recorded in their trainings. And they're corrected, and once they correct, their statistics will go up. Mm-hmm. Look, if the program works, the stats should go up. Mm-hmm. Period. Like, just because you're getting training education, and if it's not moving the graph, like, what kind of training is that? Okay, so we measure everything by a graph. The graph's either going up or it's going down. If it's going down over and over, then you get to go away. Okay.
So you think that at any given moment in the average sales force out there, salespeople are just always doing the right, even if they train.
I can't talk about the average sales force because I'm thinking about mine. So mine needs to become the model.
Right.
I got guys selling on the phone, like the calls you're talking about, that will make more money than a guy at Goldman Sachs.
Okay.
Selling a $20,000 call.
Right, but listen, in all due respect, buddy, I've trained millions of salespeople.
Millions.
And I have. And I just know, and I've trained all types, and I know that.
How'd you train them, though?
What?
How'd you train them?
Doesn't matter.
From stage? Yeah, it matters. It matters.
No, it doesn't matter. I trained in my own business, and from stage, and as a consultant. The point is that in my opinion, is human beings are human beings, and people, the average salesperson, that if you leave them to their own devices, they will tend to stay too long on a call because they don't want to pick up the phone and dial the next one.
Make a call. Exactly.
Well, if you get them to make calls, but they'll still stay too long, so you want to rein them in.
Yeah, but then you would look at, then somebody's not managing that guy because you would look at number of calls, not just calls. Like talk time that equates to nothing.
Yeah.
Means somebody doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
So it's not, you don't leave human beings up to their own devices.
Well, the thing is, though,
You don't leave them. Like if you
when you have a commission structure, right, you want to obviously create an incentive plan that motivates people. You don't want to disincentivize people, right? So you want to motivate people with certain things. You want to set them up to succeed, right?
I want to make sure they're successful.
Right, you want to set them up, give them the best chance of success, right? So my point is that when I have someone on a phone, well, I train them, is that if my belief is that people have a tendency, I think you agree with this, that in the absence of intervention, they'll talk too long, someone's not going to buy it. That's my belief. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I agree that they would, yes.
Okay, good. So then my point is that, so I try to instill, procedures to stop them, to know when do you know Like, 'cause some people, they're just not natural salespeople. I am.
Nobody's a natural salesman.
I was a natural salesperson. I was. And I ran to many over the years. They were naturals, right? Many aren't.
How many have you run into?
Countless.
Can't count.
Countless natural salesmen. And also, there's a whole barometer in between, right? The point is that what I always see, even with natural, even myself, that if without conscious forethought, you'll tend to extend the call longer than you should because you don't want to pick up that phone. And it's like human nature on some level, psychology.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think people want to avoid, that's why I said earlier, it is the number, it's the volume. What do you, it's getting
Big fan of NLP, right? They're a linguistic pro. I heard someone say, I just got to know.
I don't think much of any gimmicks, like
NLP. Gimmick.
Yeah, totally. I've never had an NLP salesman work for us. Like,
I don't know if there are NLP.
They've never been.
I don't know what an NLP salesman looks like. It's not.
I don't either. I know guys that are like, hey, I'm doing NLP. Good. They never work. They're never.
Have you studied it at all?
No, they're never productive. So we got, I don't know, I think we got 80 salespeople on the phone today. So I got guys keeping stats on people. We're like, hey guys, look, there's no fucking tricks here. The trick is the call. The trick is a good contact. The trick is that they're qualified to buy from us. Then you got to make a contact.
Qualified to buy. They can afford the product. They need the product. They want it. Define qualified.
Yeah. We're talking to decision maker.
Who has the money?
Has the money and the interest.
Okay.
And the need.
Okay.
And
so they come pre-qualified to the sales
No,
force?
not necessarily, but I'm just saying if you're not talking to qualified people, it doesn't matter. Right? So I could be talking to Grant Cardone, the decision maker, who is qualified, who has money. Fucking, I ain't making that decision. That's not my decision.
In an average company, right? So you get salesmen, they speak to
we're talking about average companies. I don't know why
when you train
back to average. Who wants to be average? Why are you guys studying average people?
Dude, I'm talking about because you're training. If you're a sales, I'm talking to a sales trainer, not as your own company. You're going into companies as an average out there, buddy.
Problem. How many people do you have today on the phone?
At this moment?
Yeah.
10 or 12 people today.
So, like, what I'm saying to you is, what trainers should be doing, is they should have their own environment under control. What's working in their own environment? How many people are actually making money in their environment? You know this as well as anyone. There's a lot of fucking guys out there saying they're this and they're that, and ain't nothing else. There's no business. There's no P&L. There's no expenses.
What do you mean?
They're training from they're speaking. I referenced this earlier.
I mean, sales trainers, you mean?
Speakers.
Speakers that
business experts.
Right. Okay.
Speaking experts.
Right.
Gurus.
Okay.
That are like talking about how to do X.
And ain't nobody at home, bro. There ain't no X at home.
Right.
Okay. And so this is really frustrating for me because I was that guy, and I referenced this earlier. I did this from 32 to probably 10 years of my career where I was like,
speaking about stuff you really didn't know about?
No, I knew about it. I was an expert on that topic, but I was not running a business. So I kept making these analogies and comparisons to situations that were useful. They were educational, certainly entertaining, but it was not practical in the real world of making something fit in.
Dude, I've trained millions of salespeople, and in the real world of practical sales training, there are certain things you see again and again at the average company. They're all over the world. Salespeople have typical habits, right? Would you agree with that or no? You don't think there's typical habits salespeople have?
I don't think it's about salespeople. I think it's about people.
Not about salespeople. Okay.
No, what's it got to do with sales?
About training. You train salespeople, don't you?
I train people.
You train people.
Right. And that's one of our businesses, right? But like when we're trying to buy a piece of real estate, look, we're not. I'm calling people that are doing. You're doing a deal for $100 million.
Wait. You're telling you like more. Let's talk real estate, right?
No. Let's not leave that. Okay, you can't. There's no tricks when I'm talking to a guy on the phone. I got that phone call I did a few minutes ago. That's $100 million worth of deals. You can't trick a guy into that. I can't cross my legs and think, okay, that's gonna get.
You keep using the word trick though. Like, what do you mean trick? I'm confused with the trick.
There's no gimmick, bro. This is what your viewer needs to see.
It's not trick. It's no trick. Is there strategy?
The strategy is to have a full pipeline.
So, but what about once you get a qualified buyer? Is there a strategy then or no?
Certainly, but
what's the strategy then?
To make contact
and
find out what the
once you make contact,
determine what the need is,
and then what's the strategy? And then what's the strategy? How do you do that? How do you explain? How do you explain that?
You don't explain it. You tell people what you want to do. You tell them, hey, I want you to buy my product. Okay, here's my product. This is what my product was. This is what my product costs. That should come early, by the way. This is what my product costs, okay? Does it fit your needs, okay? If everything I'm saying is true, does this interest you? If not today, when? Like, that's what I'm saying. There's no trick. You just need to tell people, just be honest with people, man. I got a cup of coffee. They're expensive. It's stupid, but we provide it for you, right? It's $4. You can do this at home. Do you want it or not? No? Okay, get next. And then I need to get a funnel of people in. I tried the other way. I tried the special words. I tried that thing, looking for that holy grail. And all I'm saying is consistently, it's like my business didn't start growing. So I was like, God, I need to fix the top of the funnel, the marketing side. I get it. I understand that. So if I'm trying to buy a piece of real estate, like that guy was
I think you're a killer marketer, by the way. I really do.
Thank you.
I know. Let me take my fucking hats off to you. I think you're an unbelievable marketer. I really do. The way you built your business on Facebook and all, I really do. Tell me about the real estate side of the equation now.
So
is that really where do you see yourself in the future? Is really the growth towards real estate?
Well, I'll never have a $10 billion sales training company. I will have a $10 billion real estate company. I mean, it's just...
So what's
you just can't get there with training people. Like, so what people don't want to be educated, Jordan. You know that. People don't want to pay. They don't want to do the work for the ads. They just want the ads. You know, they'll eat the diet pill, but they won't do the diet.
Tell me about the 10X conferences, right?
Okay, you want to do the real estate? Or you want to do 10X?
Well, I think it's part of 10X, isn't it? No, it's not. No. Oh, okay. I thought that it would kind of intertwine.
Not at all.
All right, so tell me, let's start with real estate, okay? I think that's what you're really...
Real estate.
It's like, honestly, your passion seems to be real estate.
I love
it. Just seems like that's your passion.
How could someone not love real estate?
So let's get...
It's real. I can touch it. I can feel it.
Do you sell courses on how to make money in real estate?
We do, but we don't even press on it.
So more about... when you
there's a book. There's How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate. It's I think it's sold, I don't know, just shy of 100,000 copies. I don't even press on it.
Hey, Shaq, here. Not many guys online with those real estate gimmicks. What do you think about that shit?
I don't think they own any real estate. Again, goes back to like I got 6,000 apartments. I know something about real estate. You know, I know guys that have been teaching real estate courses for 20 years longer than I've been around, and they still own it. Like, you got a house.
Is the best strategy, you think, for them? If you were a guy with money, would you say give the money to you and invest it because you're just too better than they will? Is that probably their best bet? Or do it themselves?
I would.
Seriously?
Well, totally. I mean,
that's where you go. It seems like that's you think.
I'll tell you, a guy that works for me, Ron Secco. Ron Secco's he found me on YouTube. He was a pilot for United Airlines.
Okay.
Quit his job, came to work for me, making cold calls.
Right.
I said, dude, look, you're never fucking gonna be any good. Okay. I mean, it's impossible in your lifetime.
As a salesperson,
he's too friendly, right? So at that point, we had to remove him, right? Like, he had to train, but he's a good guy. He wasn't fit for that deal. And he wanted to work with me. He's a pilot. He flies planes, right? I bought a plane. He became my pilot. And then I didn't know this, but he loved real estate. So everywhere we'd go, he'd go look at real estate with me.